Greetings, my movie geeks. Welcome to Now You Know Movies. Steven Spielberg is probably a genius when it comes to filmmaking, being unlike any other director before or after. The stories he tells, the cinematic experience he creates for the audience to immerse themselves in. There is no one better. Now You Know Movies, Steven Spielberg. Despite not usually writing his stories, Spielberg has maintained some key themes that appear in the stories he chooses to adapt. Spielberg is the master of taking the ordinary person and thrusting them into the overwhelming, fantastic, or historical events with massive scale. But comparing other directors who use this trope, the ordinary person, in extraordinary situations, Spielberg can be seen as probably the most successful in transporting the audience along with the character. Who else had their breath taken away when we laid our eyes on the Brachiosaur at the same time as Dr. Alan Grant? This escapism seems to have come from his own experience as a child when his parents went through a divorce, and he found comfort and control behind the camera. Some of the main themes in his films revolve around family, and in particular, the strained relationships between fathers and children. Look at how many of his films have a prominent child character who are placed in incomprehensible situations. Be that an island filled with dinosaurs to World War II, or even meeting and befriending an extraterrestrial.
Oh, God!
Using these themes are the catalyst to inspire change and growth, character development within the main characters. It's not just the children who change, the adults go through profound changes too, as shown by Robin Williams' distracted workaholic dad who becomes a swashbuckling flying protector in Hook. Even Oscar Schindler goes from a ruthless profiteer to the remorseful saviour in Schindler's List.
I could have gone one more person, and I didn't.
Changes the characters go through all span from the journey the characters are taking from the ordinary to the extraordinary world, with the majority being families that are broken that ultimately become fixed. Spielberg's cinematography uses several different camera styles and shots, from operatic camera work to gritty handheld shots that evoke this gritty realism. There are a number of motifs that recur throughout Spielberg's works, such as silhouettes, shadows, and reflections. But Spielberg's moving camera is probably the most significant tool in Spielberg's cinematography. The moving camera helps keep the audience locked into the experience. The camera is an active participant, not a passive observer of the journey. This helps bring the audience into the scenes on screen. We are physically there, part of the journey. Spielberg's one-ers are legendary. The long takes help sustain the momentum of a scene. A great example of this is in War of the Worlds, where Ray and his children are leaving the city. And to help not break the tension, the shot is a 2.5 minute long take that weaves in and out of the car so that we don't lose our connection with the characters and we don't lose the fear that they are feeling. This scene wouldn't have worked if the camera was within the car, stationary.
That machine is already here, buried. Maybe it came down in a lightning storm.
Spielberg's cinematography keeps us immersed in the story, the camera work, the blocking, along with the long takes and compositions that helps keep us engaged. Spielberg's production design is a key way how he is able to create new extraordinary worlds. Situating the ordinary character into extraordinary circumstances, the characters are dealing with other situations that are larger than themselves and seen to be overwhelmed by the scope. One of the things Spielberg uses to show how large and overwhelming situations can be is the scale. The way he uses large crowds to elicit panic within War of the Worlds is a good example. And the encounter with the aliens in Close Encounters. Even the battle scene in Saving Private Ryan is so chaotic. There is so much to look at, but you just don't know where to look. The threats he portrays are large, from the great white shark to a dinosaur rampaging across an island or even in San Diego, and even an extraterrestrial tripod looming over the trees. To grow the scale, Spielberg uses massive locations and sets, from storming the beaches of Normandy to traversing the futuristic cityscapes, or even flying to Never Neverland. Schindler's List is an excellent example of scale and scope in the production design because it illustrates the horrific scope of the Holocaust, going further to show the size and scale of the props, of personal belongings that illustrate just how many lives the Holocaust destroyed. Spielberg uses production design to contrast the character against whatever they're up against. This helps heighten the sense of scale. Uses colour in 3 different ways: to establish the tone, to transport us to the extraordinary world, and to draw our eye to something on screen. An excellent example of colour used to set the tone is in Ready Player One, where the real world is colourless and lifeless. The attraction of the Oasis is because it is built with bright, strong colours, drawing you in. The BFG uses bright, gorgeous colours to highlight the magic that transports us to Giant Country. The neon colours of the alien spacecrafts in Close Encounters leave both the audience and the characters in awe, but the bright white light emanating from the craft at the finale is used to heighten the extraordinary nature of the situation, but also creates the mystery as to what is inside the ship. And Spielberg also uses colour to draw our eye to specific things on screen. Spielberg uses red for this purpose a lot in his films, as seen in Empire of the Sun, E.T., and significantly Schindler's List, where Oscar's eyes are drawn to the girl in the red coat. She is the symbol for innocence. The way she is so noticeable, yet everyone is completely ignoring her. And then she becomes the catalyst for Oscar to make his list. In addition to colour, Spielberg uses brightness that helps to heighten the extraordinary nature of the scene. This can be seen in all 3 Indiana Jones movies. Colour saturation can direct the tone, and colour to direct the audience's attention. And this is how Spielberg is able to draw our attention to the screen. This is the way Spielberg is able to immerse us in the films he makes. Sound design again helps guide the storytelling. Spielberg's sound design is a dynamic thing that helps differentiate between the large and the small. But we cannot talk about sound without mentioning one of the best sound design elements used in Jurassic Park. The sound helps the audience be put in the Jeep with the kids. We can hear the smaller sounds, the ripples of the water in the cup, the rattling of the rearview mirror, highlighting how quiet and tense the scene is. But these sounds aren't just for suspense. They also help contrast the quiet with the loud. Quiet sounds that are detailed, like the water, and when the T-Rex appears. The sound is now a massive roar. Spielberg's use of sound to contrast between the loud and the quiet. But as with his colour, it also helps direct our attention.
Изход да знаят за кого е лекарството.
Along with sound comes music. Long-time collaborator with Spielberg is John Williams, and what is there to say? Spielberg says himself that without Williams' music, the films wouldn't be as good as they are. A way the music is used is to break the suspense. As the tension builds, the music builds to a crescendo that then breaks the tension. The opening sequence of Raiders of the Lost Ark is a perfect example of this. The music being played matches what is happening on screen. The spiders seem to have their own motif. The music also hints at danger, where danger can't be seen. As Indy is getting the idol, the music swells to a massive crescendo and then breaks when he holds it. At the same time, we're all holding our breath because we can see what's happening. And then the danger returns. He escapes the tomb and the music changes again as he is chased by the tribe. Then we hear the Raiders march as he swings into the river, and it's an iconic and one of the best opening sequences in movie history. Williams' scores are a key ingredient within these films, and we become emotionally attached to these films by how Spielberg and Williams use the score. The style of editing Steven Spielberg adheres to is continuity editing, which is designed to have smooth transitions between shots to keep the audience immersed in the film. The edits go unnoticed due to these smooth transitions. A staple of Spielberg's shots are his close-up reactions. Numerous films showing characters reacting to their extraordinary situations they're in. These shots are able to ground the audience in the moment. An excellent example is the scene from Jaws. The shots are able to build the tension through Brody's reactions and his POV shots. As Brody watches the water, we are forced to focus on the water too, putting us in Brody's shoes, and the tension grow. Each shot is cut as a passerby blocks it, and then we cut to a tighter shot of Brody or his point of view. But why are these transitions and cuts happening? We are seeing what Brody sees. We are made to feel what Brody feels. We share his anxiety. We know something will happen. We just don't know when. And the constant cutting just increases that tension. Now that the tension has been built, we are ready for the attack. Spielberg is the master of the blockbuster because he is able to use all these elements, story, set design, colour, sound editing and music to portray ordinary people in extraordinary circumstances. He immerses the audience into the world he creates by having us feel as though we are there with the characters. So, let me know what your favourite Spielberg films are. What are the scenes that stand out to you? Let me know in the comments below, and thank you for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, and ring that bell if you enjoyed this video. If not, do it anyway. Now, you know movies.